Loading. Okay, we're going live on YouTube. And we are going live on... Loading.
It says streaming on Facebook.
Okay. It says it's setting up your webinar for Facebook Live. Done. Redirecting to Facebook Live page. And we're live. Cool. So, welcome to our podcast, or we're not doing a podcast right now, we're doing a live stream on lucid dreaming. So this should be a very interesting topic. I know I'm a big fan of lucid dreaming, and some other people in the podcast are as well. So we're just gonna dive right in. Who here has lucid dreams before?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I get very close, but as soon as I realize I'm dreaming, that's when I wake up, because I try to move.
Yeah, so that's really interesting, because I think just about everybody who has a lucid dream has that experience, and it's even to the point where some people who rate the experiences call that a level 1. There's several different scales, but on one scale, that's a level 1 lucid dream, where you're like, oh, I'm in a dream, and then you're like, you get so excited you wake up, or you think, I better check out what's going on in the real world to make sure I'm safe, and then you wake up. So that's a stage in the process. So anybody who has that experience needn't feel discouraged. They're actually on their way to having more involved lucid dreams.
There's two kinds of things that can go wrong with lucid dreaming when you're just starting out. There's that, like waking up right away, and there's drifting off into a different dream. And there's strategies to deal with both. Do you want to know what those strategies are?
Yes, please.
Yes, Ariel, tell us what the strategies are. Okay.
Reveal the sacred knowledge.
Okay, so my friend Barbara taught me this first strategy. So if you find yourself waking up as soon as you enter into a lucid dream, you go in a circle with your dream body. So you either like walk in a circle, or you swim in a circle, or you fly in a circle, and that way you're re-grounding yourself in your dream body. As the impulse when you realize you're lucid is to start moving your physical body, and as soon as you do that, you wake up. And if you have the opposite problem of forgetting that you're lucid, the strategy for dealing with that is to come up with a pre-made plan for what happens as soon as you go lucid. So there's like the fly or fuck strategy, which I also got from my friend Barbara, which is basically you just, in your lucid dream, you just either have sex or fly into the air as soon as you realize you've gone lucid.
Whoa. Okay, so that's amazing that you said that, because I always used to fly like around when I was a little kid. And I did actually have a very, very brief lucid dream on Monday. And I was like, oh, cool, I'm dreaming, I'm going to fly. And so I did that. And then I flew around for like, I don't know, it was like a few minutes, and then I woke up. So
that's exactly my problem. That's exactly where I had a lucid dream last week, and it was like, oh, I'm dreaming, I'm gonna fly. But then I moved my arms, and like I woke up like this in real life.
Yeah, for that problem, try the circle thing.
Okay.
Yeah, if you have more of the problem that you forget your lucid dreaming, that's like the fly or fuck strategy is for people who forget their lucid dreaming, because the idea is that you don't want to be like in shock as soon as you realize you're lucid dreaming. Like, oh my god, I'm lucid, what should I do? Like, not when you're a beginner anyway. You just want to have like a plan. Like, as soon as I go lucid, I'm going to fly, or I'm going to have sex with Brad Pitt or something. Yeah, because when you're more experienced, you can.
Sounds fun.
Pardon?
I've never tried the fuck strategy, but that one sounds fun. We'd definitely try that one the next time.
You never fucked Brad Pitt in your dreams?
Well, that's not what Chris said. He may have fucked Brad Pitt in his dreams,
but never on purpose.
Never while lucid.
So anyway, we've been actually attempting and applying some different lucid dreaming strategies over the past month. Do we maybe want to go over like what we've been doing, how we've been going, our progress?
Yeah, no, I'll just mention one thing before we move on. There's another method. If you feel that your dream is starting to become unstable sometimes it helps people to rub their hands together. That kind of sensation also helps ground you and helps you stay within the dream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's similar to the moving in a circle. Seems like a similar principle.
Yes. So in terms of the techniques, I did have one thing that gave me a bit of success. There's a ginkgo biloba, but this stuff, so I tried it for a few days, and I drank like a couple of caps full before bed. But this stuff is like drinking Turkish coffee right before bed. So I don't know if this is really for everybody. But I did have an interesting experience after using it for a few nights. I slipped right into a dream state, or like this hypnagogic in-between state. And I had my eyes closed with my eye mask on, and I just looked up, and I saw very clearly a camera, like a DSLR camera with the screen on there, and I could see what was going on the screen. But the problem was I stayed focused. I was looking directly at it, and after a few seconds, it kind of faded away. So that's another important tip for people. If you focus on one thing for longer than, say, 5 seconds, that can destabilize the dream. So it helps to move your eyes around a bit and focus on other things.
So you're saying that rapid eye movement would be helpful for remaining lucid?
Yeah, I guess that maybe that's actually part of it, because if your physical eyes are focused on one thing, then the rapid eye movement would stop. Maybe that's why it actually does that.
Since I started taking that, it seems like my dreams have been more intense. And I did have that one lucid dream, and I think it's been years since the last time I had a lucid dream. So I guess it's a combination of maybe the supplement and maybe the journaling, which I've been trying to write in my dream journal every day as well.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up too, because I've also been taking quality of mind for about a week and a half. And before that, I was doing the dream journal. So when I woke up, I would write down immediately what I was dreaming if I remembered. And that did help me to remember my dreams. But the one time that I got close was just a couple days after starting the quality of mind, which I think might actually have ginkgo biloba in it.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mention that, but it has. I just looked at the ingredients list, and that's one of the ingredients. That's why I brought it up.
Yeah, it's worth noting too that there's different kinds of lucid dreams. Like there's they call it wild and dialed. Like wild is wakefulness induced lucid dreams. So it's when you go straight from wake in a state of lucid dreams. So it's where you go straight from being awake to being in a lucid dream. And there's dialed, which is dream induced lucid dream, and that's where you're already dreaming and then you realize you're dreaming and you go into a lucid dream. And so I've experienced both, and they're pretty different.
Could you tell us about the differences there? Or maybe give us an example of both if you don't mind revealing your inner world a little bit?
Yeah, I don't mind at all. So the only times I've experienced wild lucid dreams, which is where you go straight from being awake to being in a lucid dream, is the first time was when I was doing my Vipassana course, and I was meditating a whole bunch, and I fell asleep in the middle of the day at one point, and I just went straight into like a lucid dream. And like I was like lying on the bed, like on my stomach, and in the dream I was in the same position, like I couldn't move. But it was really cool. Like it was a little bit like sleep paralysis, but where sleep paralysis is like tends to be scary and negative, this was like really like energizing and like amazing feeling. And it was like I could control the whole world around me, so I could go anywhere, and I was kind of flying, but I was like I couldn't move my body in the dream. Like I knew if I moved my body I'd wake up. So it's like the opposite of regular life when I can move my body and I can't move the world around me, or I can't control it. And so that was really interesting, and it's happened again since then. But it only really happens every so often if I'm really sleep deprived and like falling asleep in the middle of the day. And even then, not consistently. So it's really hard to control. But it's extremely like vivid. Like it feels more like a hypnagogic state than a dream state. Like it's extremely like vivid, and I remember all of it, and like there's no real sleep element. It's just straight into like a lucid dream. It's really interesting.
How did you know that if you moved your body, you were going to wake up?
I guess I didn't know that maybe. Maybe my experience was more that I couldn't move my body. And then when I really tried, it moved my physical body and I woke up. It's kind of what sleep paralysis is like. If you ever want to get out of sleep paralysis, you just have to move.
It's sleep paralysis.
If you don't want to be paralyzed, all you have to do is move, guys. That's number one.
Usually if you're in sleep paralysis, it can help to know that, because if you're in sleep paralysis, you can like really focus on like trying to like blink or like twitch your finger or something. And if you don't know to do that, then you might not make that effort.
Well, that's definitely been my. Like I have this. Whenever I've been in sleep paralysis, I've always had this like, oh my god, I can't move. I better move. And it's like this. And then I try really, really hard to move, and then I eventually move, and that gets me out of it.
Yeah, but that's funny because it can actually be an opportunity to lucid dream, or some people even say you can have an out-of-body experience when you're paralyzed like that.
It's scary though, because I've never had
that experience like you talked about, Ariel,
on your Vipassana retreat, where you have this like kind of blissful, like happy sleep paralysis, basically. It always feels like, oh no, I have to move, otherwise I'm going to stop breathing and I'm going to die or something like that. So I've never thought like maybe I'll just sit here and be paralyzed for a bit and see if I can have a lucid dream. But maybe I don't know. Maybe the next time I experience some sleep paralysis, I'll try that out.
Yeah, I don't know like if it's controllable. Like I used to have sleep paralysis every couple of years before this happened, and it's just sort of ever since that Vipassana experience, instead of getting sleep paralysis, I get those like paralyzed, like wild lucid dreams, like wake-induced lucid dreams. So something must have snapped or shifted in my brain. Maybe it can be induced by a state of mind.
So is experiencing one of those types of lucid dreams like level 2 lucid dreaming, or are the different levels like once you get into the lucid dream, then there's certain sort of adventures that you can go on, and that's what the level 1, level 2, level 3 comes from?
The level 1, the level 1, level 2, level 3 mostly applies to like different ways of experiencing like dialed, like dream-induced lucid dreams. And those are the ones people usually train to get because they're more controllable. Like it's more of a skill. It's not so much, and the difference between wild and dialed isn't so much the difference between levels. It's more like path 1 and path 2, and then on path 1, which is dialed, let's say, there's different levels.
Okay, so the DILD, the dream-induced one. Would you say that's the easiest one to learn?
I would say, well, I mean, I just started having wild lucid dreams without even trying, so for me that one was easier. But it's less controllable. Like dialed is more a skill that you can learn, whereas wild is just like you're either gonna have them or you're not. And there's certain things you can do to put yourself in a position where you're more likely to, but they're less trainable, I would say.
So I'd like to mention one technique that I've been trying. I haven't had a lot of success in this, but it's like a subcategory of wake-induced lucid dreaming, which is the finger-induced lucid dreaming. So the idea is you lie on your back and you tap your fingers just gently, your index and your middle finger. And you get it to a point where your fingers aren't even moving, or it's just the subtlest movement of your muscle. And because you keep your awareness on that, at least in theory, you'll be able to maintain your awareness when you finally cross over a little bit. And then you can do a dream check, like, for example, try to put your finger through your hand or try to breathe with your nose closed and see if you're in a dream. So that's a subset of wake-induced lucid dreaming, and supposedly people can get good at that and have some consistency with it.
Can you talk a little bit more about dream checks and what those are for and what kind of things are good for it?
Okay. So dream checks are where you try to see if you're in a dream. So there are certain things which are very easy to do in a dream, which are almost impossible to do in real life. So when you try to put your finger through your hand, obviously in waking life, that's not really going to work. But because in a dream, there's no substance there, or your hands are actually in another place, you're not going to feel resistance, and your finger might go right through. The other thing, like I mentioned, the holding your nose and breathing, you can breathe through a blocked nose when you're asleep because you're not really blocking your nose. Another popular one is just looking at your hands and counting your fingers. And this one, people joke about because there is a certain pitfall because people will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 dream fingers. That's the normal amount. Some funny things can happen like that. But I have noticed, like, I remember once I was in a dream in a bathtub and just relaxing, and I thought, something a bit funny's going on. Maybe I should do a dream check. And I had this little false memory, like, oh, I just did one 2 minutes ago. And I thought, no, I think I'm going to check again. So I looked at my hands, and it's like my thumb is sort of wisping off into the distance, like it's made out of smoke or something like that. And it became very obvious that I was in a dream. So that's how you can. That's an element of dream-induced lucid dreaming.
Yeah.
And the important thing, of course, is to try to do these things during the day so you get into the habit.
Yeah, like when we first started doing this, I was doing this one a lot, and I never actually did it in a dream, but just somehow, like, thinking about whether or not I was dreaming more, I just started having lucid dreams. Like, I just started realizing in my dreams that I was dreaming, and it was really cool. I sort of slacked on it after I started lucid dreaming because I was like, I figured this out. I have something to talk about on the live stream. But it's really cool, actually, because it's like such a sense of power. Like, I'd be like in a dream that was like there was one dream like where I was with my family at our old house and we were fighting, and it was like sort of like not the most pleasant dream. And then I just sort of suddenly realized I was dreaming, and it was like, whoa, like I can do anything. Like I can do anything I wanted with this situation, or I just don't want to be here anymore. And I was just like flying through space. It's really cool.
Yeah. That sounds very empowering. In a very literal sense. Do you feel like I don't know, having these lucid dreams and maybe having more positive experiences in your dreams because of that has translated into waking life at all? Or is it just a dream world sensation?
It's hard to say because I only lucid dreamed like 2 or 3 times this past few weeks, so it's hard to say how it's affecting my waking life. But it definitely, I was sleeping in a lot because like once I would have a lucid dream, I would have lucid dreams by like sleeping longer. Like I would like have like one lucid dream, and then I would keep going back to sleep and having more lucid dreams, and then like I'd be in bed till like 10 a.m. So that was definitely affecting my life in a way that wasn't super sustainable. Like I'm glad I attempted it, but
yeah, definitely. If your sleeping life is too exciting, then that can definitely affect your waking life.
I mean, I would say like with lucid dreams, one way to look at it is it's a way to like create like a two-way communication channel between the conscious and the subconscious mind. So dreams are usually like you're like watching a movie and all this stuff is playing out, so it's like your subconscious mind is giving you a message. But when you're having a lucid dream, it's like your consciousness can talk back. So you can like ask questions to the people in the dream and ask them what stuff means, or you can. It's like more of a negotiation between your conscious and your subconscious.
Okay, so that must be what is meant by like level 8 lucid dreaming, when you're like asking your subconscious stuff and it's giving you answers, right?
Yeah, totally. But I mean, it's important to note that like to get there, you have to first be able to listen. Like you can't talk to your subconscious until you're listening to it. And the way that you listen to it is you start recording your dreams and remembering your dreams and placing more significance on them. And it's only once you're remembering like long sequences of dreams that are like multi-scene dreams and writing them down on a regular basis that you can really start having the opportunity to regularly lucid dream.
Yeah, definitely one of the problems I was having with keeping the dream journal was just that I would wake up and I'd be like, oh my god, I dreamed so much stuff. There's no way I'm going to be able to write all that down. And then I would get discouraged sometimes and just like not write anything, or I would write like a few things. But the times where I sat there and I remembered like all the different scenes, because a lot of times there's different scenes that kind of I can't like a lot of times they seem to be happening simultaneously, and I like where they'll switch back and forth and they're just totally different dreams. But the times that I kind of pressed on and I wrote everything down, I think that's I don't know. It's like it helped me realize. It helped me lucid dream that one time because I was more familiar with what dreaming felt like or something like that.
So one thing that's important when you do have a lot of dreams or a lot of dream scenes like Chris mentioned, you have your dream journal. You can just write a single word or a single phrase to remember that dream. And maybe you won't write down the whole thing if you don't have time, or maybe you can write it down later. But at least it will help anchor a little bit so you can retain that in your conscious life.
Yeah, that's a good trick. I mean, I usually try to write the whole thing down right away when I wake up. And there's times when I've been better about the habit and times when I haven't been as good about it, and so there's been times where I've like spent like an hour in bed writing down my dream before starting my day also, which is it's a hobby. It's like you basically, or it's a practice, I guess. Like you basically, you're either connected with your dreams or you're not. And once you're connected with your dreams, you gain a lot of power. But it does take like time and effort.
I did find Kurt's suggestion helpful with the writing down a little phrase. Not that I would just leave it, but I noticed that for me, if I didn't write something down about like each part of the dream right away, it just immediately goes away, and I mean immediately the memory goes away. But if I was able to write down even a little bit, then that seemed to help me be able to dig into the dream more to keep writing about it in more detail. And I'm talking about it. My dream memories will go away in a few seconds when I wake up.
Right. So I should mention as well that technique of just writing down a single word or phrase, that especially comes in when you wake up at 3 or 4 a.m. and you're like, where is the light? And maybe you're even writing in the dark. So at that point, it can make more sense to write a single word.
Yeah, another thing that helped me with my motivation was I noticed that, so I don't have a bedstand. Maybe I should get one. So I was keeping my journal like on the floor, and I noticed that I was like too lazy to get up and like reach all the way down to the floor and like pick up my dream journal and then like start writing in it. I started putting it right next to my head, and I noticed that would like when I woke up, I was like, oh, I'll just write in my journal. It's right there. I don't know what it is about like when you first wake up, you don't feel like moving.
Well, it's if you stay still when you first wake up, it can help you remember your dreams. Because it's like, if you get up, you go to the bathroom, you brush your teeth, then you're like, time to write down my dreams. Like, you're probably going to forget a lot. So if you lie in bed and you keep your eyes closed and you don't move when you first wake up, and the first thing you do is you think back to your dreams, and then you go to write them down immediately, you'll remember a lot more.
Yeah, that makes sense. So does anybody have any dreams they would like to share? Any like really entertaining stuff in their dream journal?
I might have to go find it. But I did find it interesting how I had these experiences. You might call them level 0 dreams. So some people say that level 0 dreams are where things are going on that are related to dreaming. So one example is like you walk into a classroom and there's an angel at the front and she's teaching the class about lucid dreams. I didn't have anything that was so closely thematically related to dreaming, but things like I would be on a bus and the bus would slam right through a red Volkswagen Beetle and just keep going, and I was like, that's strange. And then somebody slipped over in the aisle and stood up and had excrement all down the back of their head, and somebody started laughing at her, and I was like, boy, there sure are a lot of strange things going on this bus journey. It's like that level of consciousness that I could tell that something strange was going on. It seemed like I was really close to breaking through and realizing I was in a dream.
Yeah, I mean, a big part of getting to lucid dreaming is starting to think about in daily life, like, is this a dream? And not just like doing the like whatever, because your brain, there's always going to be some way for your brain to hack that, but to really start like asking the question, like, how would I know this is a dream? Like, how would I know? And then you just like become really aware of like how the real world, like what the experience of being awake is like. and then eventually become aware of what the experience of dreaming is like. And I think when you get to that point, which I'm not at, you're able to just lucid dream all the time.
So going back to Chris's initial question, I have my dream journal here, and I've kind of been considering it. And I don't have any dreams that I want to share, but I want to note that like this was my first experience where I really was writing down my dreams, so I'm remembering a lot more of my dreams, and I was very disturbed by what I found in there, to be honest. So that's why I don't feel like sharing. But it's probably good to know where my subconscious is at, and it's dark places.
So you think that? I mean, I guess we all agree that dreams are definitely telling us something about something meaningful that's happening about in our subconscious or something like that. It's not just some show that our brain is putting on for our entertainment.
I say we definitely do not know that. Sorry, Katie, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say that's a good question. I don't think that they're random, but I don't know that they're always meaningful.
Yeah, there's a few different theories about what dreams do. Like, they do seem to be in some way associated with the transfer of the events of the previous day, week, month into the long-term memory storage. So it seems to be in some way processing meaningful trends and events of life in the brain. But there's so many things that dreams could be. Like, we have no idea what they are. They could just be like a way to information process the events of the day. They could be trying to tell us like these deep secrets and shadows from our subconscious. It could be like us viewing other dimensions. Like, we really have no idea what dreams are. They really could be anything. Like, it's even, there's like the philosophical question or the philosophical observation that our only basis for saying that this world is more real than the dream world is that this world seems more consistent. So the argument that this world is the real world and the dream world is the not real world is entirely based on the assumption that consistency is proportional to reality.
Well, I think John Vervaeke makes the point that that's kind of built into us, that when we see things being consistent, then we attribute more reality and more meaning to them.
I guess I would say I don't think it's only based on the fact that this reality is more consistent. At least for me, what it is, it's like this reality, one, is consistent, and dream reality is like inconsistent mutations of this reality. So it's like the reference point seems to be this reality, and dream reality is like always somewhat related to this, but off in different ways each time.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of the time you get residue, real world residue in your dreams. But sometimes you have dreams which are totally unrelated to what happened recently. And that's a big question for me. Where do those dreams come from, and do they mean more because they're unrelated to waking life?
And Katie, I would also say that it seems like you're projecting a causation onto that correlation that you're noticing. Like, it could very much be the case that actual reality is more similar to the dream world, and it's constantly like mutating and surrealistic and irrational and chaotic, and our brains are just order-making machines that then take that reality and produce this ordered experience during the day, which is actually further removed from reality than the dream world. Are we just about ready to wrap up?
I guess I just wanted to say to people, related to Katie's point, she's not alone on that one, about having disturbing dreams. I had a lot of them. One of them was like, I went into the kitchen in my parents' place and I was naked. My mum is turned around, my mum's sitting at the kitchen table. She's like, Kurt, what are you doing? I'm like, well, what's the big deal? Just making breakfast. So I think people should be aware, like, you don't have to be afraid if you have some weird-ass dreams. those things are actually pretty normal. It's normal to have weird dreams, and you don't need to be scared or run away from your dreams or stop journaling just because something a bit disturbing came out.
And we will now do we will now do a 1-hour Freudian analysis of Kurt's dream. Go ahead, Katie.
I was just curious, what do you guys do you think there's any significance if a person has a lot of nightmares? Because that was what was going on for me. Previous to this experience, I just was completely unaware of my dreams. But once I started noticing them, I would say about 90% of them are nightmares.
I think that,
Wow.
yeah, I mean, I think there definitely is significance to that, like psychological significance. But I will say, like, I think there's an advantage in being aware of that. I think once you become aware of it, you can start to solve the problem. Like, I used to have a reoccurring nightmare that I was responsible for some kind of small animal or child, and they would always die in some horrible way while I was responsible for them. And I had this dream for years and years, and it was like I would put these little animals in the microwave by accident. Like, I had these, like, disturbing dreams.
Wow.
But eventually, over time, they've turned into dreams where I'm responsible for a little animal or little baby or something, and I'm able to keep them alive.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
I've had very similar cases to that, actually. Sorry.
No, I've even had, like, over the course of like a week or a shorter amount of time, like dreams where I keep having fights with the same person in my head, and then as I interact with the person or as I like consider the dream, it turns into a positive thing. So I think with the nightmares, like when you, like, if they're just happening and you're forgetting about them all the time, or there's some unease and you don't know what's going on, then you're powerless. But if you're remembering the nightmares, then you can start to address the issues, and over time the nightmares can shift into something different.
Do you think that work happens within the dream world or within the real world, or both?
Definitely both.
Eddie, I have a question if you care to share. You say they're nightmares. Well, I imagine we're not talking about typical children's nightmares where you're being chased by some monster or beast. Perhaps something more related to your real life, like finding yourself in an embarrassing situation.
Not being chased by beast or anything like that. I have a lot of dreams which involve car accidents or being attacked or even just like tripping and falling and dying in some horrible, or not dying, but experiencing some horrible disfigurement or people turning against me. Just a lot of nightmares that are semi-realistic.
So do you think this is related to a fear of death, or obviously you've had some experiences, like the experience where you nearly drowned, that could somehow be related?
Maybe. I think it's more about a fear of pain than a fear of death, like a fear of extreme pain, just like bad things happening that are out of my control. I am a very anxious person, and especially in the past several months, I've been pretty anxious. That's getting better more recently, but I think that my anxiety is probably manifesting in my dreams in lots of different ways.
Yes. Well, interesting you mentioned that. I did that live stream on Facebook talking about anxiety. I was feeling anxious as well, and I talked to Luis about it, and he was like, yeah, a lot of people are feeling that. He reckoned it had something to do with solar flares, but in any case, it's a kind of trend. Like, you're not alone. A lot of people out there have been feeling anxious the last couple of months. So that's one thing.
Yeah, I mean, it could be solar flares. It could be. I mean, politics is going a little extra crazy. There's a lot of natural disasters and things like that are that seem a bit extra crazy. I think Well, it's a bit honest right now.
And again, it's hard to tell what's the cause and what's the effect in this situation. There's something funny going on. So about nightmares, Robert Wagner, who's an experienced lucid dreamer of about 40 years, and he has a newsletter talking about this, and he's wrote a couple of books. One is Lucid Dreaming Plain and Simple. He often says that when children have nightmares, of course it's just like these archetypical monsters, and he says, the children can try to embrace the monster or the witch or whatever it is, and say, oh, do you want to be my friend? And often they find that the monster will want to be their friend, and after that they don't really have nightmares anymore. But when it comes to realistic situations or strange situations like car crashes, it's a little bit more difficult to apply that principle, but maybe there's a way you can do that.
The way I see it is like, I recently read a book by Osho, and he basically said something like that the most worthwhile life is one that embraces danger. And interestingly, that's often like put forward as like a treatment for anxiety, or at least like Jordan Peterson puts it forward, is like you embrace the thing that's frightening, or you embrace the thing that's at the source of the anxiety. Like you go through it, and that way you kind of gain control over the fear.
It makes sense to me. I did have one experience like that. Well, when I almost died, when I almost drowned, like in the moment, I just embraced the idea of death, and like did come to a good place about it in that moment. And I guess I feel comfortable-ish with death, but I still don't feel comfortable with like extreme torturous pain, or that idea. And I don't know that that's something that I really want to go through so that I can learn to embrace it. But I think that it's probably something that needs to be addressed just with like acceptance and letting go of a certain amount of paranoia.
Yeah, it sounds like there's an element of being afraid of other people, or like betrayal.
Yeah.
Are any of your nightmares recurring, Katie? Where like you get into this situation, you're like, oh no, I'm about to have the the nightmare where I'm in a car crash, or I'm about to have the one where somebody attacks me. Or are they just kind of random and you don't expect them?
I guess I would say they're recurring themes, but they're not recurring dreams. And usually the whole mood. The whole mood of the dream is just dark. Even before anything happens, I'm already feeling horrible. So I don't know. It's not like I know what's going to happen, but I know it's a nightmare before anything happens. I've had one recurring dream in my life, and that was when I was a child. And I don't know if I would say that it was a nightmare. It was like a family conflict dream. It definitely wasn't a fun one, but it wasn't frightening. It was just kind of tense.
By the way, I was having problems with ghosts in my apartment in Guadalajara, and I asked people for help on Facebook. I found this woman. She calls herself spiritual psychologist. And she did a few things. She like blessed my house, and she did hypnosis with me, and she did some energy work, like something similar to Reiki, and it helped a lot. So if you want her contact details, then I can pass that along.
Could be an interesting idea. What do you mean by you were having?
Okay, guys, I gotta go. Sorry. Okay. I can't get into the ghost topic right now. We can talk about this later. Thank you everyone. Thank you everyone for joining us on this live stream about lucid dreaming. Keep it real in dream world, I guess. We'll see you next time.
In the real world.
Take care.
Bye.
Guys.
Hang on.
Bye.